Hey guys, what's going on? So, just want to do a little impromptu video here on 50% retraces and how you can use them to either enter the market every single day, or use them as a higher time frame bias, just so you can decide whether you are looking more into longs or into shorts. Going into the day based off of the higher time frame reaction off of 50%. So first things I'm going to start off with is the NQ1 chart, just because that's the continuous chart here. So what I'm going to show you is, if you just start here, right? Let's look back to we'll look back to January of 23, right? Look what happens here. This is why, like, anytime I am drawing 50%, like, look here, 50%, right? And then if you go up here, back to the last weekly swing low, look what happens. 50%, right? 50% combined with what? Combined with weekly FEG here. 50% market rebalances itself. It's in a big weekly buy model. And then what? Weekly buy model up to this last high back from November of 2021, right? Um, so you see 50% there. You go up here. Like I said, another thing to notice, like pay attention to, we don't always get a 50% retrace. Sometimes the market is either so bullish that, like, we hit the first FVG, above 50%, and the market keeps on going, or we hit the first FEG, like whenever we're bearish. Let's see if we can find some kind of instant of that here, like kind of like here, like we don't even hit 50% up from this low to here. We hit it, and then we go back down to the lows. So we don't always have to hit it, but if we do hit it, and when we start reversing, and when we get some kind of order block, showing us like a change in the state of delivery. If you haven't seen my order block video, I highly suggest go watching that. Um, but it's showing some kind of reversal back to the upside. So kind of like what happened here, right? We have the last swing low, the last down candle here. Here we hit this. We hit what else? We hit weekly order block here. We hit uh weekly FVG here, hit 50%, and look what, and you guys, this is the current market that we're in right now, right? And then we get that, but obviously the inverse. Now we think, if you I think we're going back to the all-time highs here. So that's like how you can use like the weekly time frame to kind of get a bias. Like, this is where I'm like, I don't care what Powell says, I don't care what the CPI rate is, I don't care what NFP is, I don't care what Michigan data is. It doesn't matter. It All that matters is, what is price doing when it gets rebalanced here? Is price reacting to 50% and pushing back higher? If so, 9 times out of 10, if we bounce from 50% like this, we're not just going back up 50% here to then go lower. We're gonna go back up and take this swing high. So if we go back to our NQ chart here, so this is the current chart. Let's go look at here. So for example, you see from last Tuesday, not last Tuesday. This is back in March. I pulled the chart back a little bit to kind of show you guys some examples. But look from here to here. I'm at all times, I am always looking for 50%, right? And I want to show you this, because not always will we hit 50%, but you see still here, 15-minute that FVG holds. There's nothing else below here, right? I don't want to push 5. I don't want to go down to a lower, because it's going to lose my place here. But you see, like, we don't always have to hit 50. We hit the last 15-minute, the higher, I would consider 15 up to the hourly, not like lower time frame compared to the daily or weekly. Obviously, yes, but you see, we hit the last 15 minute of this leg. We tap into this 15-minute OB. And then obviously what happens once we hit 50%, or like an FEG is kind of what I was showing you guys. Like, if the market is extremely bullish, we don't even hit 50, and then we keep on going. And then what do you expect? Boom. Even if we hit 50 here and we get a strong reaction, it likely means the higher time frame is bullish. And then we end up going back up, closing above this high, and then what? We get a breaker, and then we push higher here, and then you see what happens here. We end up pushing lower. We take this liquidity here, and then so on and so on. But let's see. So another thing I'm watching like midday, like I'm always drawing 50%, guys, on every single time frame at all times. I don't care if it's on the 1 minute or it's on the 15 or the hourly. The thing about 50% is it's always a good target. The market will always okay, I can't say always, but like the market most of the time will draw back up there before rejecting, because ICT teaches us what? Discount and premium. Premium being above 50%, discount being below. So you see here, at this point, I was probably looking at 50%. We get some kind of reversal here. We push up into above 50% here, and we run into a 15-minute inverse and then down, right? So as soon as we start displacing down above 50%, what do you expect? You expect this low to get taken. And then what I was just showing you guys, we hit 50. I'm saying like we don't hit we okay, we don't hit 50. The market is extremely bearish at this point, and then we just hit the first 50-minute FVG, and then we push back lower. So but what I'm getting at is like it's always important to know where your higher time frame draw is. If you expect the higher time frame draw is lower, you're always wanting to look for price to push back, up above that 50%, looking for an FEG or something that we could push into, and then obviously push lower here, kind of like here, right? Let's get rid of this one. So at this point, you see here 50%. I mean, you guys see my charts every single day. I'm always pointing out those 50% retraces. 50% here, lower. 50% here, lower. Like of even rejected here twice, takes us high, liquidity swept, takes the low, and then we're just kind of stuck, right? But like what I'm trying to get at is like I'm trying to find a good reaction here to show you guys. So like whenever I'm drawing my 50%, I'm looking for the last in like a downswing, I'm looking for the last up candle um to draw my 50%, or I'm looking for my last down candle to draw my 50% from the upswing. So in this case, I'm drawing it from here. You see you see we hit 50% rejects, and guess what, we go back down and take the low. So it's just important on every time frame to always be drawing your if I break this down to the 1 minute, even from this current week, you'll see like a 50%. Let's see if we had a 50% here. You see 50% from here to here, go back up, and obviously we came back down a little bit. But what happens? We end up coming back and still taking the high here. So that's like the higher time frame. And like whenever we're like, okay, so let's break this down to like a 4 hour. um let's see here. So where are we currently? So right now we're currently like we're it's kind of slow price. It does look like we're in a big 4 hour buy model, right? But you still see like, okay, from the lows, we go from let's see here, we go from here to here. You see we get 50% up, we go down, we don't take a new low, we come back down. There's probably, if you look on the lower time frame, there's probably like order block, a 5 or 50-minute FVG or a OB down here. I don't want to lose my place here, but you see what happens here. Like this 50% is so incredible. Like if you come down here, you draw us from here. You see, boom, down 50%, back up, take a high. Like I said, this doesn't always work. We're not always going to go around and take the low. Sometimes we'll like kind of like here. You see, we'll reject. We'll come down. and then 50% will send us back down to fill in a 5 or a 50 minute FVG that we left on the lows, and then and then we push back higher. But like if this is like the 4 hour or the daily that I'm coming into, and I'm looking at this, you see like here, right? Um, if we go from here to here, you see, yeah, we come down into a discount 4 hour OB here. I believe this was a daily order block as well. Don't have to take a low because we just came down to rebalance this 4 hour order block, daily order block. But this is just what I'm like getting at. Like if we are below 50% and there's a daily or a 4 hour order block or some reason that we could possibly go back up, you obviously don't want to be shorting, right? You don't want to be shorting below here. Why? Because this is where we find reversals. We find reversals below 50%, and we find reversals to the downside above 50%. So like whenever I come into a day, I'm like looking to see where are we, on the higher time frame. So if we go from here, our last, remember what I said, down candles when we're going up. Look at this. How many bears do you think we're like, oh, this is it, we're going down, and then we just hit 50%, and then guess what? We go back up to the high, especially whenever we're in a buy model, right? Whenever we're in some kind of higher time frame buy model, your entries are always going to be if you can find an entry, you get a 50% dip on like the 5 or even the 1 minute. That's where you want to start looking for your entries, especially like in a case like this where you have a perfect sell model and a buy model. So let's break this down to the 1 minute chart here. So we know we're bullish here, right? So let's look at this. So 1 minute swing, we're looking at here. So this is what I was just explaining, right? We get obviously 50% up. We end up rejecting 1 minute order block here, and that sends us where? It sends us down 50%. So now we're looking at the bullish side because we're bullish on the higher time frame here. So we're looking for some kind of 50% retrace from this low, this low. What do you guys see? I see 1 minute BPR here. Notice how the FEG held, and then guess what? We push up. We get a close above here. 1 minute order block is formed here, right back up to the highs. So I'm always drawing 50% every single time frame. Throughout the entire day. If I see some kind of like a reaction off 50%, I am looking for a 1 minute order block, or I'm looking for a 1 minute inverse back up to the upside. Treat 50% like you would a liquidity sweep to the high side or the low side, especially if you believe the higher time frame bias is bullish or bullish or bearish, obviously. And then as long as the 50%, and you get strong displacement off of it, and you expect the higher time frame is still going, in that same direction. 50% should work 90% of the time. So kind of like here, right? Let's see here. Let me grab my tool. You see we have boom 50%. Look what happens. This candle takes the low. 1 minute order block formed. I would probably go off of, to be honest, you it's kind of like a liquidity sweep for the order blocks. If you haven't watched my intraday reversals video, this is exactly what I'm referring to. This candle would be your true order block because this was the candle that hit 50%. So once you close above this finally, then you can look for a long, and look what happens. You can then long back up to that high, because especially if you are still bullish on the higher time frame, or you could go off this one and look. We close above 50% of this candle is respected of the wick, I should say, and then back up to the high. So both entries work there. Um, so let's see here. What am I looking at? We're looking at 130. So 130 on last Friday. Look, and we expect a Judas swing, right, between 130 and 2 o'clock. We get a Judas swing down. We take all of these lows, and and then we're looking up. So at this point, I'm looking at least for 50% up of this candle, of this leg, I should say. But you see, by the time we already get this candle, we already hit 50%. So nothing I'm really interested in looking for longs there. Um, but if you look at, let's see, what else can we look at here? So there's just so many examples that I can show you guys. Like you guys have seen it though. Like you guys have all seen like 50% and like how you can use them to enter this market. Like look here, 50%, and then obviously we go back up and take the high, and then boom, 1 minute BPR holds. So um with that, I'm not sure if I have anything else to really show you guys. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is treat 50% the same way you would a liquidity sweep, as long as you like believe that the higher time frame is still favors 50% hitting, and then reversing, right? So another thing is strong like displacement through 50%. Like we start going through here, 50% isn't respected. This 1 minute BPR gets inversed, and obviously look, obviously the liquidity the market was after this high, and then we should go down and take this low. So other than that, guys, let me see if I can find anything else. Okay, so one more thing, but like while I still have you guys here, this is another good example. Obviously, this was like going into close on Friday, but what does it matter? Like you're still looking at here. You're looking at, oh, so we get a short here. We get a 1 minute OB. We obviously should go hit 50%, right? 50% holds. We keep displacing through. There's no other reasons for the market to hold here, right? Just keeps it just keeps pushing through, pushing through. We should go down and take this low, right? Like if 50% is not respected, no PD rate is respected below here. What does that tell us? It tells us the market is after at least this low, and then you see if we draw this over, the market ends up taking that low. So that's kind of how I use it in intraday. Let's see if we can go down to like a 5 or 15 minute. So in this case right here, good example. I'm glad I stopped right here. So um, whenever I'm looking for a 50% retrace, I'm looking for this signature in price. I've mentioned this quite a few times. Yeah, we took this low. It could mean we go all the way back up to the high, which we actually do. But whenever I'm looking for a long, even going against what just happened here, like it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to take a long. Look at these candles. Well, first things first, 5 minute OB tells us what? It tells us we should get a reversal here. And what do you see? I see this. Obviously, it's a little hindsight here, but at this point, I would have exited right here. Like if I'm looking at this on like the 1 minute, like I said, I don't want to break this down. I don't want to lose my spot here, but these are the kind of reversals that I'm looking for a retrace to 50%. So 5 minute OB here, right? 5 minute OB closes over. This tells me I should be able to long up to 159. Like 18 points right there. We get a close here. It tells me what change in the state of delivery. Price now we swept a low. Price at least should return to a premium here, unless we're extremely bearish. We end up rejecting here. We could end up getting stopped at 10 points, or we end up hitting 50% trimming, going to break even, and see what we can get out of this. Price and ends up doing what? What else do you notice here? Okay, maybe we would have exited full right there, and then look. Oh, we get a 50% down. We have a 5 minute BPR here. What else do you see? 5 minute order block. Remember this one that we formed down here? Price needs to rebalance every single order block made on the way up. hits the 5-minute BPR, hits the 5-minute order block. We get a 5-minute order block up. We get a 5-minute prop block right here. This candle closes above, and then what do you expect with a prop block? You expect expansion back up to the upside, back to the last high here. Absolutely textbook, ICT concepts right there. But I mean, it's like basically whenever we hit. So what I'm trying to get at, whenever we hit 50% either to the downside, the upside, especially if you know the higher time frame bias, that's when you want to be looking for entries. Treat 50% as like a liquidity sweep down here. Like any kind of like any kind of liquidity sweep. Treat 50% just like that. If you get a 1-minute order block or a 1-minute inverse to the upside, you should be clear to at least take it up to the last high. So with that, hope you guys have a great evening, a great day, and we'll catch you guys next time.